6 months ago, I left this server after failing to protect it from a team of Anarchy players, supposedly never to be seen again. But after hearing about the recurring problems from an old friend, I decided to make a return and finish the task I set out to complete over half a year ago, which was to restore balance to the server I left behind all that time ago. And upon joining, I quickly learned about the first main issue, which is that a team of players had managed to get normally unobtainable netherite armor, making them virtually unstoppable. And I knew that if I wanted to stop this group, I'd have to do it before it was too late, which begins with getting rid of the netherite that makes these players so powerful. But the first thing I'd need to do this would be a base, since although I have items from the last time I played over 6 months ago, I knew that with all I wanted to accomplish, these supplies would eventually run dry. Luckily, after doing some scouting, I managed to get the coordinates to an abandoned base, but upon arriving, wow. That is one messed up base. The base was in complete ruins, and after asking a few other server members, it seemed like any place that didn't belong to my enemies was either looted or destroyed. The base did, however, have some villagers, which meant it could be restored, but with the coordinates to this place being public, being here would always pose the risk of being attacked. But by the looks of it, this base is the best we're gonna get. So after getting more villagers and repairing the string dupers, I now had everything I need to properly re-gear. Now the next thing we'd need is superpowers. I'm not even kidding. That's because on this server, every player has an element with abilities and weaknesses, which you can make stronger through killing players or crafting a special item known as a power core. But because you lose your abilities by dying, I needed to craft multiple power cores if I wanted to get all my abilities back. So after a member named Pika offered to help me get power cores, I met with him at spawn hoping he didn't have any bad intentions. And upon finally finding him, I'd go on to learn some important things, which was that he had access to almost every resource imaginable and ended up giving me not only some gas tiers, but also the power cores I needed. It seemed like Pika would be the perfect ally to have, and that I finally had a fighting chance.
Yeah. I mean, I have a full set netherite, but I'm just not wearing it because I don't want to, like, make everything get mad if I wear it. But I'm just not wearing it because I don't want anyone to get, like, mad. Like, it's not, I mean, it's no harm if it's an ender chest, right? If I'm just keeping it for collectibles sake.
Yeah, so that's not very good. What I hadn't realized is that Pika was a member of the very team I was fighting to stop. The only difference is that he was hiding his netherite armor in his ender chest to avoid being attacked. And the only reason he trusted me at all is because since rejoining, I'd yet to fight anyone. But now knowing who he was aligned with, I left the area before he could figure out what I was up to. So despite my revelation, I still had 2 power cores, which I could finally use to get my element abilities. Unfortunately, they weren't very useful. I had the hydro element, which although gave me perks in water, wouldn't be that useful in a regular fight, meaning I'd first need to change my element using a special crystal that would give me new abilities at random. Luckily, I just so happened to have one of these items in my ender chest from the last time I played on the server, meaning that by right-clicking this crystal, I can get an entirely new set of abilities. There is this crystal here. I have one of these, and then with these power cores I can max out my abilities. So I can switch my element one time. 3, 2, 1. Helio. Whoa, Helio. Wow. I have no idea what that does. My new element was Helio, which ended up only giving me 2 hearts at high light levels and some saturation. So basically, my abilities still suck. Despite that, it was announced that the next day, Calicat and Pika, the only 2 remaining players with netherite, would be at spawn for a final fight. And if they died here, they would lose the armor that made them so powerful to begin with. And even though I was on good terms with Pika, if I wanted to stop his team, I would have no choice but to fight him and his teammates. Great, they have me fighting full netherite alone, bro. Oh, he's got netherite. Oh, this is Pika! Wow, that hurts a lot. Oh my god. Who is this? We got glowing. I'm gonna run out of gear soon. I have to go. My shield's gone. Oh god. Yeah, no, I'm out. I'm out. I have nothing left. I'm sorry, team. I ended up having to leave in the middle of the fight, so as I threw my last pearls to safety, all I could do was hope that the other server members I was working with could win the fight for us. Luckily, I returned to hear that the entire server had managed to destroy the netherite gear for good, putting an end to the netherite team and once again restoring balance to the server, for only about a day. And that's because a new opportunity for players to become stronger again would be arriving shortly, since the following day it was announced that numerous items with special abilities would be scattered across the server. And not only did I need to get some of these myself, but I also needed to stop any single team from obtaining too many, or else they'd become too powerful and take control. But since there was still time before the items would be placed around the world, I decided to try and find some teammates who could help me with my cause, since this search would be impossible by myself. And that's when I met Kiang and Uncertain, two players who simply wanted to find at least one item. And with this goal, our team went under the great name of the Item Getters. It's clever, right? Yeah. And as the day of the hunt arrived, we ran into our first issue. Literally. Apparently, the admins had forgotten to preload any chunks before the event, meaning that the 15 people loading chunks at the same time was lagging the server horribly. For whatever reason, I don't know why that'd be. Regardless, this meant that it became 10 times harder for anyone to find anything, and at this rate, it all came down to chance on whether or not we'd run into something. It also didn't help that we were getting, like, really sidetracked. Nah, but this video is actually a banger. Eventually, hours passed by and our entire team was empty-handed, despite going as far out as we possibly could. Bro, I'm at the world border, it's over. But shortly afterwards, as we began to talk with other players, we learned that 5 out of the 8 items were in the possession of a single team. With this information, I knew that if I didn't get these items redistributed, then the same power struggle would repeat, with one team always dominating the server. So by the end of the day, it was revealed that these 4 players were the ones who possessed the majority of the items, and since they were all working together, our team of 3 knew we had to make a plan. But we wouldn't even have time to prepare before it was announced that 1 out of the 8 items had never been found at all. That item being known as the Equilibrium Trident, which allowed the user to riptide in both water and lava. And yeah, fighting against it is about as annoying as it sounds. So with 1 item still out there, it was said that the coordinates would be leaked shortly, and knowing that tons of people would be going for it, my team and I prepared to not only hopefully get an item ourselves, but to also stop the enemy team from having yet another item. Despite being like 5 minutes late myself, our good friend Kiang had managed to get to the Trident before anyone else, meaning that our team had managed to secure 1 item. But something to mention about these special items is that they can't be stored in any way, meaning that they have to be in your inventory at all times. So whether we wanted to or not, our team had just put a massive target on our backs. But with an item now to our name, our team decided to begin targeting the group with the most items, starting with a player named Whatmax, who held an item known as the Axe of Darkness, which not only dealt tons of damage, but also had an incredibly quick attack speed, making it one of the most powerful items to have. So after changing my element one more time to give me more mobility, we went to go find Whatmax, but what we didn't expect was for him to find us.
Are you fighting?
Yes, we're
Yes,
fighting
Whatmax,
He's here.
he's here!
Where?
Above.
Above. That means Aqua and Statical are gonna be here pretty soon. Okay, 4 people are gonna be pulling up now. Aqua's here. Aqua's here.
Oh my god, I don't think we can take this. They both have items, bro.
Then Statical and Keys are gonna be here soon as well.
That axe does so much damage. Keys is here.
Keys is here. Yeah,
we gotta go. Alright, you'll be good. Oh, you'll be good?
Maybe.
I'm out.
Keys is gonna be an issue, but I can like kind of take Keys like in a fight.
Oh,
so.
Aqua found. They're both. Oh, they're on me now. Okay, that's fine.
That's really.
I can get you one. Wait, I don't have it in your chest though. I have to go back then to the base to get my ender chest. All right, and we can get on him. Hold on. Oh, let's are you still in trouble?
Yep. Okay. Despite our team's best efforts, great attitude, and me dying, their team's items made it nearly impossible for us to kill them. Not only that, but as it turned out, Whatmax had managed to get a second special item, which was a chestplate that gave him insane defense. So knowing how strong the items were together, we knew that we had to try and catch one of the item holders alone before they got more and became too powerful to stop. And that time would come later that day, when Whatmax was spotted alone at spawn without the earth plate, which as it turns out he'd given to his teammate Sharu. So seeing as this was the most vulnerable he was going to be, we decided to try and catch him by surprise.
Oh wait.
Let's go! Where's your chest plate? Oh, you have it. Never mind. You knew how to use them on season 2. Come on, you got this.
Max has no pods. Max has no.
Oh, wait, never
He
mind.
doesn't experience Ethereum. I have to aim or something. Like, Whatmax just never hit.
Oh, it's gone!
It's on the helmet.
Oh, it's gone! Kill
Wait,
him.
who's?
What
Helmets
Max?
or?
What Max?
Oh, yo, that's you get the earthquake there if you kill him.
It's not the earth plate. It's
Doesn't have the-
He's done so beans. That's
Yo,
it.
getting an upgrade.
Let's go!
Let's go.
Get the axe, get the axe, get the axe. Secure it, secure it.
Do you have it? Do you have it?
Who got
I
it?
got
Who got it? You got it?
Okay, let's go.
With What Max dying, our team had secured a total of 2 items, but that was until Kiang, who was still holding the trident for our team, was killed by a cart trap at his own base, which resulted in our team losing the trident to the team who we just stole an item from. Yeah, so nothing changed, because despite our best efforts, their team still held 5 items while we only had 1. Regardless, we quickly tried to make another attempt and track down a player named Aqua, who was the new holder of the trident, but the Riptide enchantment made it impossible to chase him. Yeah, I told you it was annoying. However, a certain player then offered to help our team by telling us the location of Sharu, the enemy player who held the Earth Plate, and it was none other than Pika. You know, the guy we beat up a couple days ago? But before anyone could object, my teammates instantly accepted his help. Not fully trusting him myself, I simply watched as my teammates caught Sharu alone and took the Earth Plate from him with ease, but with Pika himself being the one to hold it. But he did, actually help, so I'd say it was safe to consider him an ally. With yet another item in our team's name, we only needed 1 more until we'd have the same amount of items as the other team, essentially distributing the items equally as I wanted. And luckily, it wouldn't need to involve violence, since Calicat, the holder of 2 items, announced that he was willing to negotiate with us for the Volt Ball, an orb that lets a user shoot lightning. And after some discussion and signing a book that we found on Craigslist, we were able to get our hands on it. So just like that, with the help of my team, we managed to equally distribute the items among the 2 teams. But for the people around me, that wasn't enough. 5 minutes after getting the Volt Ball, my teammates were already planning to kill Calicat for a second item. And that's when I realized that the goal I was trying to complete was simply impossible. And no matter who I help, by taking items from other people, I'm simply contributing to the power struggle. I helped stop 2 powerful teams, but nothing changed in the long run. But after looking around, I realized that players were still roaming freely, everyone had a team to go back to and a reason to keep playing. Maybe it's simply not my place to decide how this server should be anymore. So instead of trying to stop some inevitable cycle, maybe I should just join it instead.